Can't hear you there, Ryan.
Hope if I mute myself.
There, that works.
I was saying,
I've done that myself.
I made a nice intro for the show, and I forgot to push live, so nobody got to see it. Oh, well. We'll get you next time. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing a little sore, but hanging in there. At work this weekend, I work in a railroad maintenance facility. Work for a heritage railroad, and we started refurbishing one of our passenger cars. So I was up on a man lift with a grinder, grinding on the roof all day long, and just stuff you haven't done in a long time, and you don't think your body's going to hurt 2 days later, but here we are.
That's the thing about getting older, man. It takes a lot longer to recover from pretty, basic work.
Right. Well, and it wasn't anything overhead either. It was all out in front of me, but I did crawl underneath one of our steam locomotives.
So what year is the passenger train? Like, what is it?
It's an Olympic. It's an Olympic Hiawatha, so I'm guessing like late 40s, early 50s.
Oh, so that's when, like, I guess passenger trains were a really big thing, traveling around the country.
Yep. So she did the Olympic Hiawatha run, so went from Seattle all the way out to Chicago.
Oh, wow. So I watched those old movies from the 1940s and 50s. They're always like on the trains and stuff, and with the dining cars and the I guess they still have dining cars and on trains today, but it's just not as romantic as back then, or even earlier, of course, with like the stagecoach and the trains and stuff like that. But
right, I mean, you're going to find the same type of cars with Amtrak today, but it's just not as romanticized as it was in the 40s and 50s.
I think because there's a lot more, I guess, easier ways to get around than there,
Right. I mean, if I were to leave St. Paul, I'm in Farmington, so I'd have to drive to St. Paul, which is a half-hour drive. But if I left St. Paul's Union Station today, I wouldn't be into Seattle for 3 days.
See, I mean, it'd be a comfortable ride, and you could see the scenery and enjoy your ride a lot more. But if you need to get somewhere fast, it's a lot easier ways to. Plus, you got all the stops you got to make.
Right, but the nice thing is you can get an Amtrak ticket from here to Seattle and back for the price of a one-way airfare.
I just realized something. If we called this freaking awesome train talk, this would be fat.
That would be fat, yo.
People are tuning in like, we're talking about ghosts. Why are you guys talking about trains so much? You never know what you're going to talk about here. In the
that's because the host is a resident train nerd.
Yes, we'll talk about anything on this show. We don't care. You know what? It is National Tooth Fairy Day.
Oh,
I know. I can't believe it's finally here. I mean, I've waited. Too bad I don't have any more teeth to lose. I could use some extra money.
Right.
Tooth Fairy.
I had one pulled about a year and a half ago. I had a molar pulled because it was falling apart on me. But if I would have known that, I would have asked for the remnants and tossed it under the pillow.
Yeah, see if you can find it. Throw it under the pillow.
Right.
See if you can get the tooth fairy to come bring you some cash.
Cash is always needed. I'm either buying model trains or tools to work on real trains.
Man, I was listening to some tooth carols on the radio today, just celebrating the greatness that is Tooth Fairy Day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids dressed up with the wings on, and have the Tooth Fairy tree decorated in the living room over here.
Right.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that our guest, we have Kevin Otte from Haunted Discoveries. I'm actually glad he could make time to come talk to us on National Tooth Fairy Day.
I mean, it's a toss up. It's a toss up for me between Christmas and National Tooth Fairy Day.
And I don't mean to. I mean, I understand if you want to get off right now, but it's actually National Plant Milk Day as well. So if you want to cut the show short and just go milk some trees or something, the day is your way. I gotta go.
I do have a Japanese cherry blossom out front.
Oh, cherry blossom milk. That'll be good.
Right.
So, anywho, we have got Kevin Otte. What's up, Rhonda? How you doing? From Haunted Discoveries on the show tonight. I made a haunted discovery myself today, and it's nothing to do with ghosts. Well, it had to do with Halloween. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and I found a new monster cereal. They've released a new monster cereal. So I found it at Food Lion, and it's called
blueberries.
It's cool. It's called Corella Carmella.
Huh.
It is a female zombie, and it's a caramel apple flavored cereal. I'm gonna go ahead and add Kevin to the show here so you can join this awesome, riveting conversation about monster cereals we're having here. What's up, man? How are you?
Yo, how's it going?
Hey, Kevin.
I am good.
I still have bad visuals of people milking trees now.
I might throw a GoPro on and go try the Japanese cherry blossom.
Yeah, and I need a video of that. see what you get. But yeah, they've they got the monster series. Were you a big fan of the monster cereals growing up, like the Count Chocula and the
Blueberry,
Frankenberry?
I still buy it at least at Halloween time.
I saw a box. It was like $4.99 for a box of cereal. Oh, I was like, man, I don't know if you like. I may have to put that off a little bit until it gets closer to Halloween. But yeah, they got a new cereal. It's like I thought it was like a female Frankenberry because she got this like a scar on her, but she's green. So I'm thinking it's probably like a zombie because that's the next thing to make a cereal out of, or a next monster, I guess, to make a cereal out of.
Did you buy some?
No, I put it off. It's caramel apple flavored. I'm not so sure about that. I'm going to buy it, I actually like to try things for do videos and try them. But I was like, man, I didn't have the money at that time to get it. But it's cool actually seeing the cereal out.
I used to just pick out my cereal based on what toy was in the box.
That's right. That's a good way to. I mean, how else would you pick it?
Exactly.
I mean, that or the character on the box, or how good the commercial was that made me want to buy the sugary cereal.
I can't tell you the last time I bought a box of cereal, but I don't remember when the last time I got a toy out of a cereal box.
Do they still make toys?
Them were the good days.
I don't think they do that anymore. Although I'm not really paying attention to kids cereals anymore, but I don't think they. I have a 5-year-old. What am I talking about? 5-year-old, and we buy cereal for him, but I don't ever see like a prize inside.
Right. Well, I grew up in Minnesota, and we have Northfield just south of me here, and that's where they make a lot of the General Mills cereals. And so we used to get a lot of the knockoff brands in the big bag. So,
oh yeah, the big like dog food bags.
Yeah, because it's cheaper to do that,
Yeah. Every time I see those bags, I think of like Alpo or Purina. I'm sure that's exactly what they're going for too.
Right.
So if you were to, what was your favorite monster cereal there, Kevin? If you were to pick one,
I'd probably have to go with the Count Chocula.
Yeah, I like the character Frankenberry, but I think I have to go with Count Chocula too. I think I liked Frankenberry a lot more when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the cereal a lot more when I was younger too. Every time I put it, try to eat it now, it gets all soggy really fast, and
Yeah.
it's great when you buy the box. You're excited when you eat like 2 bowls of it. You're like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm finished.
Right.
How about you, CR?
Yeah, it's Count Chocula for me too.
For the win.
Yep.
Unanimous. So I want to get started here. Talk about the paranormal. We can talk about cereal all day long if you want. I'm not sure our fine folks in the chat want to hear that. Diane says that's what we did as kids. Go for exactly. Although it is there's something about waiting to get the toy, and just working your way to it. So when you get to it, it's like it finally comes out the box. It's like finding buried treasure,
right?
And it's like you feel like you've earned it,
right?
And you finish it up and realize that the toy was on the outside of the bag, between the bag and the box.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Well, how about the box of Cracker Jacks? I mean, would you eat through the Cracker Jacks, or would you dump it out to get to the toy?
I'd dump it out because I didn't like the peanuts.
Yeah, I picked the peanuts out. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of those. I mean, I like peanuts, but those peanuts always taste burnt.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, I couldn't do
I
that.
haven't had Cracker Jacks in a long time either. I'm going on a nostalgic food trip here.
And they were the good days.
They used to be in a box, but now they're in a bag. I think I stopped eating them when they used to move to a bag. I can't do this. This isn't real.
Yeah, they didn't. I think they stopped putting the prize when they moved from a box to a bag.
See? And the box was just full of lies. Just that one little loop on it that said "push here to open." Right. No, you didn't.
You're a box of lies.
You cannot push there to open.
They usually come with like a tattoo.
Yeah.
The
water soluble tattoo.
You lick and put on or whatever, like a dog or a cat or whatever. And you felt so badass. I got a tattoo. I'm not a cat now. I'm gonna get a sleeve of lickable tattoos. Ooh. So let's talk ghosts, shall we?
Yeah.
Actually, I listened to your interview on Spaced Out Radio a few weeks ago. That was really good.
That was a good time.
I enjoy listening to Dave. That's awesome. So I may ask you the same questions you were asked before, not exactly the same questions, but trying to learn more about you and stuff. Mm-hmm. So how did you get into this like paranormal thing? What piqued your interest as a kid, as a young lad?
I mean, I've always been interested in that kind of stuff as far as I can remember. I grew up kind of in southeast Missouri, very small towns. Some of my earliest memories watching horror movies with my dad, getting ready to go trick-or-treating, get my costume on and that kind of stuff. And then, I'd have friends come over and spend the night, and Mom would sneak out of the house and scratch on the windows and stuff like that and try to scare us. And then later on, I was always interested, like in school and stuff, when the teacher would start talking about ghost stuff around Halloween. It always caught my interest. Mm-hmm. Was it 2001? I started working for the sheriff's department, and I went to the academy in 2003, became a deputy, and I got hooked up with a private investigator, and him and his wife had a paranormal team. We started talking about it one day, and they invited me to go along on an investigation, and that's all it took. I've been kicking at it ever since.
I have realized there's a correlation here. We interviewed, what was it? Paranormal Security. Was that a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, that was a week, I think the week before last.
So he was a law enforcement officer.
Mm-hmm.
I was a security officer myself, and I'm seeing the correlation that you were a law enforcement officer too. And I was doing mall security, and the mall was built in the 60s, but still, I mean, you're on a skeleton crew of 3 or 4 guys until night shift shows up. And yeah, I mean, I've heard some things. I don't know if I knew, if it was just the building or if I was actually hearing what I was hearing, but yeah, it gets kind of creepy.
Yeah. And like, people don't think of like, of course you think of like houses and museums and jails and stuff like that as being haunted, or antique shops. They don't think of like a shopping mall of having activity, but there's a lot of energy in a building like that constantly, because there are people going in and out of it. I bet a lot of it's residual, but still.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere can be haunted, I guess.
Yeah, especially if you built on the land could be haunted and you built something on top of it and stuff.
100%.
So, did you when you first went on your first investigation, did your law enforcement mentality kick in when it came to evidence and stuff like that? Was it since you're more analytical as a being in police and stuff, has that helped you?
It did, and that's how I approach investigations now. I try to look at evidence as if I'm presenting a court case to a jury. I try to they could say, present a piece of evidence, and you show it to them, and they're like, yeah, well, that looks like that could be this. Well, yeah, it could be. This is why it's not. And then I try to lay out why it's not what they may say it is, and kind of try to look at it from that point of view, and debunk as many things as possible and leave, only the unexplained as the answer.
Yeah.
But I like to look at each individual thing, and, we have a video clip. I'll go down, I'll break it out. I'll look at it frame by frame by frame and keep going back and forth and zoom in, zoom out, and just do my best to see what it is. I don't know, multiple cameras. I'll try to sync the cameras up the best I can and see what's going on the other cameras at that time to make sure it wasn't somebody else, and try to figure out exactly what we caught.
So basically, they know if you're presenting evidence to them, you've gone through everything with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that there is no other explanation for it.
Absolutely.
Very analytical. I do it the same way.
Yeah, I don't want to put something out there that's easily debunked, because then you look like a tool, and then it doesn't take much to lose credibility in the paranormal world.
Yeah, and if you're not looking to debunk it, somebody else is. It's better to have you debunk it than have somebody else debunk it for you. But there is also, can put out an EVP. You're the only person there, so I mean, the guys be like, "It's obviously somebody else." Well, you weren't there, so that's
And there is a difference in posting a
different.
video. There's a difference in posting a video where that it may not be what you say it is. Than there is posting a video and somebody saying, "Hey, that could be this because of this," and it's something that you weren't aware of. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I see where you're saying with that. And I think that's totally different than just posting something to post it and try to play it off as something else.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I see exactly what you're saying, though. Yeah,
I think with evidence, our word is really all we have to go with. If we put stuff out there that's obviously this. If you don't look at it, if you're not going to look at your evidence, it's it's tough.
One thing we kind of looked at on our series a little bit is you get in some locations, depending on how they're built and how easily sound and different noises can travel in those locations, even from outside. A whisper in the right environment can carry through there and sound and pick up just like an EVP. And, you don't mean, it's not like you're playing it off as you didn't know. I mean, you just don't know.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
something we try to look at as well. And
lots of extenuating circumstances when it comes to evidence. And like you said, there are people who live to debunk evidence. And if you don't, look at every single aspect of it, and again, it does for environment sake, the people who are looking at it online or whatever, they don't know because they weren't there. They don't know if there are people outside or if there was like wind coming through the house or their house was creaking at the time but if you put it out there, yes, the house was creaking, but that's not what this is. So you can
and that's how I try to look at things.
So where was your first investigation at?
My first ever investigation at a place called the old Macomb College in Louisiana, Missouri. It's up north of St. Louis. It was I believe, if I remember correctly, it was the first the first co-ed college this side of the Mississippi River. And it was built in like 1868 or something like that. It was an interesting place. And we picked up our first EVP there, and I was hooked after that.
What was the first EVP?
It was a name. We were kind of debating if it said Scarlet or Scott. And I thought it said Scarlet, but somebody else thought it said Scott. But, I was in the room, and I know none of us said it.
I guess since it's a co-ed college, it could be either one.
You could be, yeah.
It looks like we got a picture, or we got a question from Diane Gaither, and her question is, what are the best tools to use when investigating a place?
I like using IR camera. I like having visual of things. Voices, you have a recorder. Depending on how many people's with you, you could set it down. And even if you leave it in a room, you don't know if somebody walked by that room and you can hear those footsteps. You don't know somebody standing outside whispering. I like to have visual evidence.
Yeah, that's the hard part about using a recorder. You said, you don't know what is happening unless it's right in front of you. You could leave a static recorder, and like you said, people could walk by, or they forget to talk in their regular voice, and they'll and you'll go to listen back to it, and you're like, was there somebody in the house at the time? I don't remember.
I mean, they're good if you're doing burst sessions, but it's also good to set them down while they're recording and not hold them.
Yeah,
even movement can make noises that you can mistake for an EVP.
Yeah, I've noticed if I hold my recorder in my lap, my breathing can you sound like Darth Vader trying to investigate the paranormal.
And always mark your evidence too, or mark things that happen. I think our biggest thing was always belly growling.
Yes, that happened a lot. We had an investigation out at the cabin last weekend, and there was definitely some gurgling going on. See, Ed asks, hey, Kevin, have you ever asked the spirit if the IR light bothers them? I guess for the
not with the IR light. We did ask a spirit once if an EM pump bothered them, and it said yes.
I thought they used that to get energy. I wonder what was bothering them about it.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
That would be interesting to find out.
I don't think we've ever asked about IR, but don't hold me to that.
What if it hurts their eyes or something? Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
That's an interesting question. That's Howie Odell that asked that question.
We'll have to look into that next investigation.
There we go. And then we can give us a report and what they say. Right. Yes, cut it off. It's blinding us.
As long as we can get a intelligent conversation going.
Exactly. That's
that's half the battle.
Right.
Exactly.
But we try to stay away from K2 meters and stuff like that, because they're just so easily manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we try to stay away from using anything like that. And we tend more to go towards stuff that's not technically made for paranormal. Big user, the tri-field meter, stuff like that.
I think a lot of times like using K2 meters and stuff like that, they're fun for public investigations because they give something tangible. Like there's the detectors going off.
Mhm.
There might be something here, but then
Right.
without just having that, it's really not enough evidence. You've really got to get something else to back it up.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like
it's
an
like
EVP or something.
I usually don't carry my cell phone whenever I'm investigating. I'll leave that in my bag. I don't want that interference or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I use my recorder on my cell phone, but I keep far enough away from it that doesn't really affect it that much.
I think if you put it in airplane mode, it's supposed to help out quite a bit as well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Doesn't put off as much signal.
Yeah. So what after you've had your first investigation at the college, you're really excited about investigating. Did you start your own team or did you join another team? How did you what was the next step in
I joined
progress?
their team. Yeah, I joined their team. It was at Cape Girardeau Paranormal Research.
Was Cape Girardeau, is that in Missouri?
Yeah, that's in Missouri.
Gotcha. There are a lot of like interesting places in Missouri to investigate.
Cape's an interesting city. Sits right on the Mississippi River. A lot of history there.
Well, I mean, as far as being on the Mississippi River, that's got to be, being close to water, the history on the river. There's got to be like just so much energy just around it from that.
Another big thing to add to that energy, there's train tracks that went right next to the river.
God,
Nice.
and shit, it goes back to trains again.
Right.
RC, Fat freaking out some train talk. Here we go.
We'll have to do that some night and piss off all your listeners.
Yes. Well, might piss off our guests too. I thought we were talking about. So, what other cool places are there to investigate in Cape Girardeau?
Oh goodness, there's a lot of the old fraternity and sorority houses up by the college.
Interesting.
That's supposed to be really active. When I went through the academy, one of our instructors used to be a campus police up there, and he had a lot of stories from calls they would get to some of these locations. One distinctly, I remember they went into this house, vacant house, and they cleared the house, nobody there, and they were downstairs talking before walking out. And they heard what sounded like footsteps coming down the steps, and the canine was just sitting there growling at the steps. It was like, okay, what's it's a police canine. It's not just any dog. What's
it's not going to start growling at nothing.
Right.
So they packed up and got out of there.
Wonder what the dog saw.
We didn't know Shriner's Lodge in Cape as well, and that was a pretty cool place.
Mm-hmm.
Howie's asking, have you ever investigated one of the juke joints there?
Juke joints, I have not.
I don't even know what a juke joint is. Is it like a bar or something?
I believe so. I've heard them called that before.
Yeah.
We did investigate the Thebes courthouse in Illinois once. That was a pretty cool place. It's a small, older courthouse.
Any of you guys been out to Bobby Mackey's at all?
I've been there 4 times, I think.
What was that like?
It's interesting. It's not what a lot of the other shows claim it to be, but it's an interesting place. It's an active place.
So GAC hyped it up then.
It's not a demonic treasure box.
Right.
Did they really drop a head into the well?
We've found no evidence to ever show that had happened.
So no skulls or anything to suck in the well. But that's disappointing. I mean, not for her, obviously.
The story of that is true, of her murder. That's all true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that other stuff, there's just no documentation to back it up.
I guess was that story if the like about just if the story difference between a story and a lie, print the story. The story's better, print the story.
Right.
I totally butchered that quote, but
we did notice in a lot of the places we got into that the true stories are better than some of the made up stories.
Mm.
so there was a guy who said he got possessed by a demon, lived upstairs in the. Was that true, or is that just he was just had something mental going on?
I think between that and being a big alcoholic had a lot to do with that as well.
I mean, maybe the activity in the house in the place made him go a little bit crazy.
Hard telling. I know. Every time I've been there, I've never had much activity either up in his apartment or on that main floor. It's all seems like it's been around in the basement.
I mean, when you walk into the door, what's the feeling once you walk through the threshold on that?
It's a change of energy, but I think a lot of it is the pre notion that is in your head from seeing it on all these other shows.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to ask that if it was more of a just because you have a preconceived notion of what you're supposed to expect when you walk in there.
But it's not a place that you walk in and chairs are going to fly across the room and stuff like that. That it's not that place.
So no one yelled "Get out" as soon as you walk through the front door. So what place have you been where it has had that negative energy that you weren't expecting it to make you feel that way?
I think one place that I can think of right now was in a place called the Carrick Parks House in Perryville, Kentucky. And it's an old Civil War town. And there was just something off in that house. And I was just like dizzy throughout that whole investigation. I just wasn't feeling right at all. And I'm not sure what was going on there, but I'd like to go back again and try it out again and see if it's a different feeling, see if it might have just been that night. But I was way out of my element that night.
I wonder if it was. No, go ahead. Sorry.
What was the best place or your favorite place to investigate?
Oh,
Diane asked.
That's kind of hard to narrow down.
If you don't, because let's do top three places to investigate to make it a little bit easier on you, because you don't want to leave anybody out, make anybody jealous.
My favorite places I've investigated: Point Sur Lighthouse in Big Sur, California. Number 2 would probably be, I'm going to go with Portal 31 Coal Mine in Lynch, Kentucky. And number 3, goodness, I mean, Waverly Hills is always fun. I've done that one like 5 times, I think. That one's always been good. There's a old bourbon bar in Bardstown, Kentucky called Talbot Tavern. That's a lot of fun. And it's still an operating bourbon bar. And you can
spirits.
And you can spend the night there.
That's cool.
I also love all the places in Virginia City, Nevada. I love Virginia City. And it's just hard to narrow down.
You ever done like a museum ship?
Ship-wise, we did the Star of India down in San Diego, California.
Okay.
We did another one in around San Pedro, and I cannot think of the name of that one. I've done the Queen Mary. So they've all been pretty interesting.
I've been on the Mary myself, and I wasn't investigating. I was just there with my dad, but I saw 2 of the claims that they talked about.
We had what sounded like kids running down the hallway, and you open the door real fast, and no one's out there. The hallway is several hundred feet long, so you would see somebody. And we picked up voices and whispers and whistles down in like the engine room and stuff like that.
Right.
It was a cool place.
I guess that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the shopping malls. There just being so many people on the boats, or in that such an enclosed place,
Mhm.
the residual energy has got to be off the charts,
Mm-hmm.
or even on like the warships
And
too,
you
because of the tensions and stuff.
have so many different types of energy coming through them places with different people.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Some for the better,
Happiness,
for the worse.
yeah. You get, if because it was a warship too at one point. So you've got the military aspect of it, the fear of being taken out to fight, and then the happiness of whoever was coming back. There's
Right.
also mixed with sadness of the people who passed away and probably being transported back. And then when it became a cruise ship again, everyone's pretty much all happy again.
Well, one of the claims that I saw, it was can't remember if it was in transit to England or if it was transit back, but it's when she was a troop ship. Um, they all had to do a zigzag pattern because the German U-boats would snipe anybody going in a straight line. And it was a foggy morning, and the captain of the Queen Mary zigged, and one of the British destroyer escorts zagged at the wrong time,
Mm-hmm.
and the Queen Mary cut the escort destroyer in half
Yep.
and chopped up a bunch of guys in the propeller. Now, if you go down into the engine room, they actually have cut a hole in the side of the ship, and there's a walkway that goes out, and you can look down and see one of the propellers.
Mm-hmm.
It was daytime, but it's
Mhm.
darker and dark in that room, and it was daytime, and swear to God, I saw a couple of guys swimming around the propeller.
Wow.
So it was creepy.
And
Of course, my dad was right there, and I'm like, I'm not going to ask him if he just saw what I saw, but
Mhm. Wow. And I mean, it's stuff that you don't. A lot of people don't know about that. And it is such a meaningless death.
right.
Because it's just a mistake, and
Now,
it's just
Brandon, he's caught one of the best pieces of footage I've ever seen on the Queen Mary or anywhere really. If you've ever seen that of that person in the changing stalls at the pool,
no. I need to look that up.
yeah, look it up. It's Apra Queen Mary.
Hmm.
It's one of the creepiest things I've ever seen, and he's had so many different professionals look at it, and
Mm-hmm.
no one can say exactly what it is.
See, that's when you had the professionals look at it and they can't debunk it. That it's got to be something.
Yeah, it's always going to take stuff to a third party.
Yeah, a non-biased third party who can you can look at it with a
I
clear eye.
I did that with Ryan. I was investigating a place and caught an EVP. I was in a one-room schoolhouse.
Mhm.
I was the only one around. I was closing up for the day because I worked at this site, and just decided to pull my phone out and ask some questions. And when I replayed it, I was shocked. So I just, out of the blue, I just sent Ryan this EVP, and I'm like, hey, listen to it and tell me what you think. And he was like, okay, did you have kids right outside the door? And I'm like, no, these kids were hundreds of yards away from this school. And I had the door shut, but it sounded like they were right outside playing, clear as day.
It really did. Because I asked him because I thought maybe because he did tell me he had kids on site, but I didn't know how big the site was. I'm like, well, maybe they could be really loud and he could have heard them, but apparently it was like all the way on the other side
Oh, yeah.
of the. How far would you say they were from where you were?
Oh, they were at least 200 yards, if not more,
Oh wow!
because the school's kind of on the back side of the property. It's on so the road kind of curves around, and it's on the outer side of the curve.
They sound like they're right outside the window.
It was nuts.
So tell me about Haunted Discoveries. What is that?
Yeah, so we actually premiere on October 6th in Canada on T&E. We're still
Nice.
working on domestic stuff now. It's just been kind of a mess over here with a lot of the mergers and stuff like that. But it's myself, Brandon Alvis, Mustafa Gadolari, Malia Molino, who is our researcher. And then we also have Dr. Harry Clore on several episodes with us. And, we hit it very historically based and go deep into like the scientific method of investigations. We work a lot with environmental conditions and stuff like that. And I mean, the main focus on the episode is the location and the history of the location, who's there, what is their stories, why are they still here?
So what kind of locations are you looking to investigate? Are you looking to investigate like the big ones or more of the obscure ones?
We've done both. We've shot 32 episodes so far. Season 1 was a lot of more unknown places, a lot of bed and breakfast type places. Season 2, we hit a little bit more well-known places, and again, some others that haven't been as well known. And season 3, we hit kind of a little bit more known places and debunking a lot of the myths that kind of surround them.
If you ever come to Virginia, we've got some places around here that you guys should come check out. We have the Cabin on 360 over here, so that's the one I run with my friend Dennis, and we've got 2 houses. One house has got a murder in it. Another house that was once used as a brothel, and they both sit on Civil War battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and
you had the attempted suicide in the cabin.
Yes,
as well.
that too. So it's a boatload of fun, paranormal fun over here.
Yeah, the thing I find with a lot of the locations is if they don't know much about the paranormal world and you ask if you can come in and film and then they go and look up on YouTube to see what it's all about, that kind of ruins it for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much out there that's just what I would say is kind of disrespectful to the field. And people see that and it really makes it hard to get into some of these locations.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they give a bad name. I think some people try to amp up like their reactions, and they try to maybe act like Zach Bagans because they think that's the way to do it, and they end up looking like more like assholes than they mean to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a place that's open to like public tours or learning stuff for kids and stuff like that, they don't want people coming in and promoting it as demonic energy and stuff like that all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, people
And
think
people
get possessed.
It's like, no, because we don't want this place known as like a demonic place. It's like that's not what we're about. That's not. I said that's very rare, and that's not us.
Yeah, it was like the museum that I work at. It's a transportation museum. It was an old maintenance facility for the Great Northern Railroad, and there are some accounts of stuff happening, but we don't necessarily want the negative connotation of demon hunters or there being something negative there, because I don't even know if there is. I mean, when I walk in there, I don't feel any, I can usually feel what's going on. And I don't feel anything negative. It's just really busy and there's people, going about their daily thing, doing what they're doing. But yeah, I think that's the biggest negative connotation with these shows is, the shows that come in and hype everything up just for the views are talking about negative things. And then once they say, oh, well, we saw this negative thing here, other people are going to say, well, yeah, it's negative, so don't go there.
Mm-hmm. Or you get people that just keep spreading an untrue narrative that makes the place look bad.
Right.
Yeah, I've always thought because sometimes the having the shows will actually increase the visitors. Like people would want to come out and see. Like,
yeah, a lot of them will. We've also had people that was afraid that if it went on the air, that they thought people would automatically start trying to break in.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah,
It's like, well, you're not an abandoned facility sitting somewhere. You're an actual still functioning museum in a state park. So that would
you have
kind of
security.
that would kind of be not good on somebody to try to break into a place in a state park and get that kind of charge.
Right.
No, I'm not that desperate to get evidence for
If you were an abandoned house out in the middle of nowhere, I could see how that could be an issue. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, like us, we've got millions of dollars worth of, locomotives and priceless items that I could see both sides of it. Yeah, you do want publicity, but you don't want the negative side of it.
mm-hmm.
Plus, a lot of these places they need money because what happened with the coronavirus, they lost a lot of business.
Mhm.
There's a battlefield here called Pamplin Park. We do a lot of investigations with, and they lost a lot of money. It's a huge park, very nice, but they can't get the volunteers to come out anymore. So we have investigations, and that's how they raise a lot of their money for the year. Just we do investigations once, like I guess every quarter we'll do spring, summer, fall, winter investigations out there.
Yeah,
And
that's a big thing for locations to stay running and to do restorations and keep them, up and going.
Mhm.
and that's what basically, it's what we want to do. We want to help these locations.
Mhm.
I'm sure that's what you guys. You want to boost the tourism, help them out, and they should. I understand where they're coming from, but it's kind of an old school mindset that's kind of keeping them from, embracing what could be a really big money maker for them.
Yeah,
because it's not like you're screaming, "Come at me, you mother effer!" You're not. It's not like you're doing that. You're coming at it from a very calm, scientific, and you're not going to be like, "Oh, this place is full of demons. Don't think your kids here. They're going to be possessed or whatever."
with respect.
Don't pull a Dennis.
Yes.
They definitely have to go in and treat them with respect. Not just the spirits out of there, but the location as well.
Right.
Don't leave trash laying around. Don't destroy things. Don't graffiti things up. I mean, these are historic locations. Let them be that. Preserve them.
Exactly.
Historical preservation is a big thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. And there's so many places that nobody's heard of that have got activity, and if you go there and you film, there might be somebody like, "Oh, I want to go check that place out."
Mm-hmm.
I may not have ever heard of it before.
We're gonna have a lot of those coming up on the series.
Tell you what, man, I tell you want to come out to the cabin, I'll get you in. My dad, my family owns it.
Yeah, I'd love to come up sometime.
We'd love to have you, man. It is a messed up place. I've seen some shit. Part of my French.
Sounds like fun.
Here. Yeah, it is awesome.
So, Kevin, if somebody wanted to watch Haunted Discoveries, how would they do that?
Right now, you can find our trailers on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Again, it airs on T&E in Canada starting October 6th. And as soon as we have word about where to land it domestically, we'll be posting that ASAP.
Okay.
It's not that we haven't been trying. It's just distribution over here has been kind of, with the mergers and now the strikes and everything going on, it's just been kind of a mess.
Are you trying to go on like TV, or maybe would you do internet, like Paraflix or something like that?
We're letting our sales rep handle most of that, so I'm not sure who all she's reached out to at the moment.
You would think that having the strike would make it easier for shows like that to get airtime, because there's, I guess Discovery or like Travel Channel is not really acting. I guess there is some acting and stuff, but
they're merging so much with each other and stuff like that. It's just kind of
right.
You reach
it's
out
so
to
weird.
one person, and then next thing you know, they're not there anymore, and this person's in charge. Start talking to them, and then they're gone. They moved on to the company now, and it's hard to keep up with. But yeah, it's not that we haven't been working on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be so confusing, like turning on HBO Max and finding Ghost Adventures, just like. But there's so many shows out there too. I mean, you go on YouTube, looking up ghost stuff. There's like, God, everyone seems to have a show now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's gonna be. I think people's really gonna enjoy it once they get to see it.
Because I like your the way you do it too. It's because you've got to have something to stand out from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just do the same thing. And the way you approach the investigations, or how you look at the history of locations, and how your more scientific base is different than how a lot of shows try to go about it.
Yeah, and we did one location in season 3, and it was a hard location to get into. And talking to them, they're like, "Well, you need to send us your script." I was like, "We don't have a script." Like, what do you mean? I said, "Well, your people at your facility that are professionals of this history, they're the ones that's going to tell the story. It's their story. It's not something that we're going to write a script and this is how it's going to be. Your people's telling the story, so that's what the script will be. So if you trust in your people, then the story's going to be good. We're not coming here to make up, here's some stuff and make up a story and present that as, oh, this is what this place is. Like, no, your people will tell the story.
Right.
So it's interesting how they were expecting a script.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like usually when we start with the location, we'll do like a Zoom call with the owner or whoever. We'll get the history, and then we'll kind of bullet point out different points to hit based on, their stories, but it's still what they say that's driving the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you don't want to. I guess you could ask them, and then you could, I guess, write it out for them to then repeat back to you. But it's just not the same as getting the fresh take. That's why I was listening to when I do with my shows. People ask me like should I tell you about myself? I'm like, no, I like hearing it for the first time on the show. It's just feels more natural that way.
And another thing with the show, everything you see on the show is happening in the moment that it happens to us. Like, we had some pretty big reveals, and everything you see is actually happening in that moment. It didn't like happen a day ago and then we recreated it. It's actually happening when you see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of emotional strings to it. Yeah. A lot of freshness, a lot of emotional strings. It's got some really touching pieces in it.
What was the most, like, I guess, scariest place, or like you went for the show, like where you just felt like just weird?
Like I said, for me, it was Carrick Park's house. And that one just, I don't know. There's one room in there. It affected me and it affected Brandon because we were in that room together. And it just had just a weird feeling. The house did have, in that room, it had like unusual EMF, which was kind of strange because there wasn't any power to that house, really.
Well, we are about out of time. We've got 2 minutes left. And I want to thank you for coming on the show, especially on National Tooth Fairy Day. I realize that I don't want to keep you anymore from actually, I know you got to go plant some milking some plants too.
Yeah, I'm going to look on if I can find that movie, The Tooth Fairy. I think it's a horror movie.
There we go. It's a holiday tradition.
Yeah.
So I'd like to give you a chance to talk about like how people can get in touch with you and figure out how to watch Haunted Discoveries. in
Yeah, you can
Canada.
follow our Haunted Discoveries Facebook page. We're on Instagram, Haunted Discoveries TV, and I believe it's the same on Twitter as well. So you can, our X now, but you can follow us on any one of those. We'll be posting updates. And
Do you have any videos on YouTube or anything that people can check out?
we have our first trailer, season 1 trailer is on our Facebook page.
Okay.
The link to that, it's a pinned link. So as soon as you open our Facebook page, it should be the top one.
Awesome. Well, I hope that hopefully you guys they figure stuff out for you to be able to get it distributed down here, even if it's on like Paraflix or something like that. At least you can get it out there so people can see what you guys have been doing, you know?
Right. We're ready for it to get out there.
Yeah, I want to see it myself. I'm excited.
You have to definitely let us know what you think.
I will, and I'd love to have you back on sometime. We'll talk more.
Yeah,
We'll get more into different locations and stuff.
Sounds like a plan. Appreciate it.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too, sir.
You too.
Have a good one.
Bye. Well, that was fun.
That was.
I definitely appreciate him coming on National Tooth Fairy Day. It's obviously a big holiday, and
thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Next week we've got Shanna Winkle coming on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, Shanna Winkle, Wonkel coming on the show. She will be fun to talk to. And maybe we'll do some supernatural news this week. I've got nobody at the house, so I can pop on and we'll do some of those. I haven't done that in a while.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I'll let you go. You celebrate Tooth Fairy Day.
So I got a quick question for you. So
Okay.
how you liking your candles?
I'm enjoying them. I lit sugar cookie the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It smelled really good. Thank you for reminding me. I'm just been out of it today.
So today I got my package and I got the black
Nice.
teakwood. This one's I've had this burning the whole show and I absolutely love it.
I'm enjoying the like again the sugar cookie scents. And I got that one in my room that has the kind of I guess that's the black teakwood one.
Yep.
The relaxing one.
Yeah.
That's a really good scent as well.
Yeah. So I got black teakwood, I got chocolate brownie and cinnamon roll.
Let me go get mine. I'm gonna go grab mine real quick. I'm gonna see what I All right. Let's see here. We're talking about Dutch soy country candles, guys. One of the best soy candle making places in Pennsylvania. For my money, Country Spice is one I got right here. Let's see. That's got like a kind of an apple smell to it.
Yeah.
Apple mixed with like just like a clove type smell. Now we're talking about freaking awesome candle talk.
Right.
Facts. I'm just making it crack. Just the facts, man. Here, apple cinnamon, which of course smells like apple cinnamon, which I love that smell. I'm very into the fall scents, like the pumpkin spice.
Right.
Country maple, again, was something to be burned in the fall. And sugar cookie. So, yeah, she definitely like tailor made these for me because I'm definitely more of a spice scent.
Oh, okay.
More than like a flowery, like strong stuff. I don't like clean linen or like laundry flavored things.
Right. Well, I gotta say, I've only lit black teakwood, but it doesn't have any of those. Like, you go to like Yankee Candle, and it's just strong and off-putting. I mean,
yeah.
What I was smelling was nice and subtle. I mean, you don't really smell it strong unless you put your snoot right over it. But It's got a nice lingering smell to it. And the nice thing about this is they're dye free. They're 100% organic, and they're soy.
Yeah, and you know that the Dutch, you hear about the Dutch, they do things the right way up there.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find Dutch soy country candle. Do. I'm not sure if she's shipping out candles yet. I think she just started. See, these are the scents that she currently offers: blueberry pie, apple cinnamon, country spice, hot fudge brownie, sugar cookie. I need a blueberry pie
Mm-hmm.
Candle. I love blueberry pie. Maple bacon, vanilla, lilac, rosewood, moonlight path, amber, sensual, toasted marshmallow, espresso latte, black teakwood, mad moon, cucumber, eternal forest, oatmeal, milk and honey, salted caramel ginger, lavender vanilla, white pumpkin. Each candle is $5 plus shipping. I want her to do like a pine, like an evergreen type Christmas tree.
I'm thinking that's probably what that eternal forest is.
That's true. Yeah.
I would definitely, pay $5 plus shipping to see what that's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to smell the blueberry pie. I'd love to smell God, forgot already. Blueberry pie. Everyone spell amber sensual. You got to say it like that too. You may like, what are you burning? Amber sensual, baby. Just makes you want to talk all sexy like.
Right. Get your Barry White on.
Let me get you in the mood. Let me light my amber sensual candle.
So next Tuesday will be fun.
Yes, I might see if Rhonda wants to come on too, since we got a girls. Maybe we can have like a little female connection going on there. So
cool. Yeah, this Friday is going to be an interesting one with Karen or Adrian and I call her Karen. Her first name is Karen, but when my parents got married and they moved out here, my dad's sister's name is Karen, and they were both Karen Zarn, and their mail kept getting messed up. So mom goes by her middle name, Adrian. But Adrian and I will be talking to Doug Wagner, who just happens to be one of my cousins. And we're going to be talking about information technology and how to keep your information safe and how to stay off of like the dark web, how to keep your, like if you're always buying stuff on the web, how to keep your card information safe. And then the week after that, Kevin mentioned the Queen Mary. We are going to be doing a show about the Queen Mary and the hauntings thereof 2 weeks from Friday on our show.
We still got to do our Ghost Train episode.
Right.
Hey, well, shoot, you got a music show coming up here pretty soon.
We do, don't we?
Yeah.
And what we're
the 3rd of September.
What were we doing? What was the topic on that?
Music from a movie, I think that was the
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Top five movie soundtracks.
Yeah.
I'll have to look. I know.
I'm sorry.
Right.
So what does your mom think about people calling like women who are bitches Karens? Like what is?
Yeah. So I mean, probably everybody with the name Karen probably doesn't like it that much, but
I wonder where that came from.
I have no idea.
God, it's just like some random person said, "Don't be a Karen," and it caught on. And so if something like really cool, I'm like, "Oh, you're Ryan," and then Every time there's some, every time somebody does something cool, oh, that's definitely something Ryan would do. I'm gonna try that.
Right.
Whoa, way to Ryan. Comments when they turn my name into a verb. I was just Ryaning the other day, and all right. This is going off the rails. I'm gonna see.
Yeah.
I might do some Supernatural news tomorrow. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Or maybe Thursday.
Sure.
We'll see. Well, all right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which ain't
Oh.
much.
leaves me very few options there. Okay.
Right.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, guys. We'll be back here next week and that at the state with I can't even talk. Good God, man. You know, Archie's getting up, going to school at 6. I'd get up at 6:30 in the morning, and it's just my brain's not working today for some reason.
Maybe you gotta switch to caffeinated coffee.
Oh God, I would not get to sleep. I can't even talk. I would not get to sleep. Can you hear that? I would not get to sleep. I'm gonna burn myself some Dutch country soy candles or Dutch soy country candles. See, I always get the words confused. I got the Dutch part right, but after that, it's just like Dutch country soy candles, Dutch soy country. Let me see what it is. Dutch country soy candle company.
Soy candle. Yep.
Yeah, I think people they're gonna rethink our deal if I can't get the name right.
Right.
That's why I didn't ask for money for the sponsorship. It's like no, I don't need,
Yeah,
your
they
money.
pull it from both of us.
I'm gonna fuck it up anyway. So there's another Dutch soy country candle. Who's getting all the business? Come sending them to the wrong place. All these people keep like messaging me, asking me about the paranormal show, but I'm getting free business from. All right, so we're back here with Shayna Winkle. Same freaking awesome time, same freaking awesome channel, and I will talk to you guys later. CR, see you soon, brother. Bye.